Next up on our Wildlife Center conservation tour, our reptiles. So first up, one of my favorites, our eastern box turtles. So we have quite a few eastern box turtles at the center. We have a few up at Quail Hollow as well. Inside, usually the first guy you come across is Bowie. Bowie lives inside year round. So box turtles, they live and spend more time on land. So, you're primarily seeing them in forests, wetlands, and grasslands. They are not good swimmers. So that's why in his enclosure here, it is not an aquatic enclosure. He has moss, he has dirt, he has bark, and he has lots of things to hide in there. Now they do like to soak, and of course they need to drink water, so he has that water in his enclosure as well. So Bowie is probably one of our most brightly colored box turtles we have ever gotten in. Very bright orange, almost like a hunter's vest orange, day glow orange. But we also have box turtles that live outside as well. So if you have visited before, we have a very big enclosure for our turtles to live in outside. Ruby, our red ear slider, joins them, who we will meet later. But these guys, the eastern box turtles, take up most of the land in here. So dirt, leaves, rocks, logs, things to hide under, things to crawl on, choices to be in the sun and out of the sun. Now, this is new video, so they are already awake for the season and living outside. Now, most of our turtles do hibernate for the winter, but we bring them inside and they hibernate in our turtle freezer. It's a more constant and stable winter temperature environment that we can count on a little bit more than our weather outside right now. So next up, we're going to talk about our spotted turtle tank, where this little lady is hanging out right now.
Yeah, so our spotted turtle tank is a very cool thing. It's part of a very amazing project. The spotted turtle is currently listed as a threatened species in the state of Ohio, but they are very, very borderline on being endangered. So we are working to find good habitat for them. They like to live in shallow wetlands, and those are the things that are being drained. So it's very difficult for them to find places for them to live. So we are looking to find habitat and help establish populations in those spots. Now, currently, our aquatic turtles are using this space until the weather warms up a little bit more consistently outside.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is Ruby here that you see. Ruby was hit by a car. They are not inside of their shell. They are their shell. That is their spine and their rib cage in a bony plate. She broke that portion out. She has had enough growth after several years that she's doing pretty well now, but she can't be released. This is Lumpy. Lumpy is also a red ear slider. Now, they are naturalized. They did not come here on their own, but so many people have kept them as pets that they are, and unfortunately released them into the wild, that they are now surviving and having babies here. This is Pancake. Pancake is enjoying these indoor enclosure as well, especially on some of our chillier spring days. So with our turtles, we have a variety of injuries. Some are kept as pets, which is against the law. Unfortunately, they lose their instincts and they can never be released into the wild again. Unfortunately, you don't just take that one, you take all the babies that animal would have had as well. So that has a huge impact on our population and our ecosystems. Quite a few of them have been hit by cars, which of course can cause damage, but they can survive. So quite a few car strikes come in. Of course we advise kids, please don't go out in the road where it's dangerous. The same goes for you adults. But if you do have the opportunity to help, of course, we don't want to touch snapping turtles with any bare hands or feet, but moving any species of turtles safely to the side of the road in the direction in which they were traveling is the best thing for you to do. If they're not injured, we don't need to see them, and moving them somewhere else can really confuse them and affect their survival. And sometimes they get caught in litter or trash, fishing lines, fishing hooks, and unfortunately, sometimes people will paint on those shells. That is their bone. With something very similar to your fingernail on the outside. So that can cause damage. We definitely don't want to use toxic paints or anything on the outsides of those shells. And those are all of our turtles. So we do have another reptile though, and he's one of our favorites. He's quite a character.
He truly is. So he is our only snake at our Wildlife Conservation Center. His name is Linguini, and he was kept as a pet. So you can see his survival instincts are very strong. His head is hidden, so he believes you cannot see any of him. So he's very good at showing off why he cannot be released back out into the wild. He's definitely one of my favorites. I love looking in there and just seeing his hiding skills every time I go to visit. So linguini is a milk snake, and I think they're a beautiful snake species. They're named because people originally found them in their barns and they thought they were going in to drink milk from cows. But snakes don't drink milk. Snakes are carnivores, so they only eat meat. They were really there in the barns to eat the rats and the mice. So they're really important animals to have around. They are non-venomous, so there is no danger of being bit from these guys, but their color patterns typically mimic the venomous snakes. It's one way that they keep themselves safe. So unfortunately, they're very often mistaken for venomous snakes. They can grow to be 2 to 5 feet long, so they can be pretty long and pretty big. But I just think their color patterns are absolutely beautiful. They keep those scales looking nice and shiny by shedding their skin. They shed all of their skin from the tip of their nose to the tip of their tail, and it rolls off kind of like a sock. It's pretty amazing. So he is definitely an interesting animal to come and see. And that's our reptiles.
That's all of them.